In June 2025, Israel launched a preemptive bombing campaign against Iran, a move that shocked the international community and escalated tensions in the already volatile Middle East. The primary targets were Iran's nuclear and missile facilities, which Israel claimed were on the verge of producing weapons of mass destruction. The precision strikes aimed to cripple Iran's ability to develop and deploy these weapons. The United States quickly joined the offensive, providing strategic support and additional firepower. The joint operation was intended to send a clear message to Iran and the world about the determination of these allies to prevent nuclear proliferation. For 12 days, explosions rocked Iran, with major cities like Tehran and Isfahan experiencing relentless bombardment. The world watched in real time as a direct military confrontation unfolded, raising fears of a broader regional conflict. In response, Iran launched a massive missile barrage targeting Israeli cities. This retaliation tested Israel's advanced air defense systems, including the Iron Dome, and sent civilians scrambling for shelter as sirens wailed across the country. The skies over Israel became a battleground, with interceptors clashing against incoming threats. The Iron Dome system intercepted many missiles, but some still managed to hit their targets, causing casualties and damage. Both sides claimed victory in the aftermath of the conflict. Israeli and U.S. officials asserted that Iran's nuclear and missile programs were severely damaged, while Iranian leaders boasted of their resilience and ability to strike back. The war left a trail of destruction and heightened tensions. Israel and the U.S. showcased the damage inflicted on Iran's facilities, but Iran displayed its remaining missile capabilities, emphasizing its ongoing threat. The conflict ended with a tense, undeclared ceasefire. There was no formal peace treaty, just a fragile pause in hostilities, leaving the region in a state of uncertainty and on edge. The aftermath was a landscape of destruction with cities in ruins, and emergency crews working tirelessly to manage the chaos. The war set the stage for a new, more dangerous era in the Middle East, with the potential for future conflicts looming large. The 12-day war marked a significant turning point, exposing the region's fragility and the limits of military solutions. It underscored the urgent need for diplomatic efforts to address the underlying issues and prevent further escalation. In the months following the war, Iran's leaders were quick to step into the spotlight, making bold claims that their missile program had not only survived the conflict but emerged stronger than ever before. The message was clear: Iran would not be cowed by military pressure or international isolation. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi took center stage, declaring that Iran's missile capacity now surpassed even its pre-war levels. He issued a direct challenge to Israel and the United States, insisting that Iran's technological advances had outpaced their expectations and that the country was ready to defend itself against any future threats. This narrative of rapid recovery was no accident. It was a carefully coordinated campaign designed to project an image of resilience and strength to both domestic and international audiences. By showcasing their ability to bounce back, Iran's leaders hoped to deter future attacks and reassure their own people. Defense Minister Aziz Nasirzadeh joined the chorus, announcing significant improvements in both the quantity and quality of Iran's missile arsenal. He emphasized new technologies, longer ranges, and greater precision, painting a picture of a military force that was evolving rapidly in response to adversity. Iran's leadership framed the war not as a setback, but as a catalyst for innovation. They credited the conflict with accelerating research and development, uniting scientists and engineers in a common cause, and pushing the nation's defense industry to new heights. These bold claims forced Israel and its allies to reconsider their assessments of Iran's capabilities. Intelligence agencies scrambled to verify the extent of Iran's progress, while military planners debated how to respond to a potentially more formidable adversary. The real question on everyone's mind became, how quickly could Iran turn its renewed power into a tangible threat? Was this resurgence mostly rhetoric, or did it signal a genuine shift in the region's military balance? As tensions simmered and the world watched closely, it was clear that the strategic balance in the Middle East was shifting once again, with unpredictable consequences for the future. How did Iran recover so quickly? The answer lies in its strategy of decentralization and redundancy. By dispersing missile facilities and building underground bunkers, Iran minimized the impact of airstrikes. Surviving sites ramped up production, replenishing and expanding the arsenal. Iran used wartime lessons to improve missile precision, range, and survivability. Analysts believe Iran is now producing more advanced missiles, incorporating solid fuel propellants and maneuverable re-entry vehicles. Instead of rebuilding old models, Iran is upgrading its technology, making its arsenal more lethal. This rapid leap forward alarms regional adversaries, who now face a more capable foe. Iran's post-war missile program is not just restored, it's transformed. Israel's response to the missile threat is a multi-layered air defense network. The Arrow system intercepts long-range ballistic missiles outside the atmosphere. David's Sling counters medium and short-range threats, filling the gap between Arrow and Iron Dome. Iron Dome, famous for stopping rockets from Gaza and Lebanon, now also intercepts cruise missiles and drones. During the 12-day war, these systems faced their toughest test, intercepting hundreds of missiles. Yet, the sheer volume of attacks revealed a vulnerability saturation. Israel realized that a determined adversary could overwhelm its defenses by launching more missiles than it could intercept. This spurred investment in new technologies and a larger interceptor stockpile. The arms race between offense and defense was accelerating. To counter saturation attacks and reduce costs, Israel deployed the Iron Beam, a high-powered laser air defense system. Iron Beam intercepts rockets, mortars and drones at a fraction of the cost of traditional missiles. With near-unlimited shots as long as it has power, Iron Beam changes the economics of defense. Declared operational in October 2025, it integrates seamlessly with existing radar and defense networks. While weather and line of sight limit its use, Iron Beam is a powerful supplement, not a replacement, for other systems. Its deployment marks a new era in military technology where lasers defend the skies. Directed energy is now a critical part of Israel's shield. The war and Iran's missile resurgence have shifted strategic focus in the Middle East. Experts warn that Iran's conventional missile arsenal now poses a more immediate threat than its nuclear ambitions. Hundreds of precise missiles can devastate infrastructure and cities without crossing the nuclear threshold. Iran's missile program is now a tool of coercion, used to pressure for sanctions relief and deter further attacks. The dual-use nature of Iran's space program also advances its long-range missile capabilities. Even as the world watches regional missiles, the specter of an Iranian ICBM remains. The next conflict may be triggered by missile concerns, not nuclear ones. The threat landscape has fundamentally changed. The 12-day war derailed efforts to revive the Iran nuclear deal. Iran withdrew from talks, citing the strikes as proof of bad faith. The US now demands Iran give up all uranium enrichment, a red line for Tehran. Iran's missile arsenal has become its main deterrent and bargaining chip. The deadlock has created a volatile situation, with diplomacy frozen and military confrontation more likely. Iran's continued enrichment, free from inspections, brings it closer to nuclear capability. This increases pressure on Israel and the US to consider further action. The world is caught in a dangerous cycle. Military strikes kill diplomacy, and the lack of diplomacy makes more strikes likely. The risk of escalation grows with every passing day. The events of 2025 have triggered a new arms race in the Middle East. Iran's rapid missile recovery has pushed rivals like Saudi Arabia and the UAE to accelerate their own military buildups. The region is now more volatile, with a lower threshold for conflict and a higher risk of rapid escalation. Advanced missiles threaten global commerce, especially through the Strait of Hormuz. US bases and allied assets are at greater risk, complicating strategic planning. The psychological toll of constant, high-alert poisons prospects for peace. The missile race is about more than hardware. It's about living under the shadow of conflict. The region's future is defined by fear and mistrust. As of November 2025, the Middle East teeters on the edge, its fate hanging in the balance as tensions simmer just beneath the surface. The region is gripped by uncertainty, with every new development watched anxiously by the world. The arms race between Iran and Israel is inherently unstable, with each side's advances prompting countermeasures. Every technological leap, whether in missile capability or defense systems, is met with an immediate response, fueling a cycle of escalation that seems impossible to break. The collapse of diplomacy leaves military posturing as the main form of communication. With trust eroded, leaders rely on shows of force and strategic deployments, while the channels for dialogue grow increasingly silent. A new diplomatic framework is desperately needed, addressing both nuclear and missile issues. Without it, the risk of miscalculation grows, and the possibility of a catastrophic conflict looms ever larger. The international community must pressure both sides to step back from the brink. Global leaders, organizations, and ordinary citizens alike have a role to play in demanding restraint and encouraging dialogue. Only a comprehensive approach that acknowledges all parties' security concerns can avert disaster. Lasting peace will require compromise, empathy, and a willingness to address the root causes of mistrust. Without renewed diplomacy, the region risks a humanitarian crisis and global instability. Millions could be displaced, and the suffering would extend far beyond national borders, affecting generations to come. The relentless advance of military technology drives escalation and mistrust. As new weapons are developed and deployed, the margin for error narrows, and the stakes become ever higher. The world faces a stark choice: renewed diplomacy or the breaking of a precarious balance with consequences far beyond the Middle East. The decisions made now will shape not only the region's future but the fate of global peace and security for years to come.